All right, starting with number 9 now, and I think I've got markers that work better. It says find the inverse of the function, then verify that they are inverses. Okay, first of all, you know that to find an inverse, we trade the x and the y, and then we solve for y, and that's the inverse. Okay, once we have a function and its inverse, then we have to do f of g of x and g of f of x, and if they both equal x, then they're inverses of each other. Okay, so that's what we're going to do, and I didn't leave you enough room on your paper, I apologize, but oh well, it is what it is. So okay, so I'm going to, this is y, I'm going to reverse these. So I've got x equals 2y plus 4. Okay, I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides and then divide by 2. And I'm going to call this g of x. It can also be called f of negative 1 of x. That's another way of saying the inverse. Make sure you know that for the test. Okay, so it is x minus 4 over 2. So now I need to find f of g of x, and I need to find g of f of x. And if they both equal x, then these are inverses of each other, which we already know because we just found it, but this is what it's asking for. So f of g of x, right here, x minus 4 over 2. And now I have f of x. I'm going to put this in for x. So this is going to be 2 times x minus 4 over 2 plus 4. So because this is in parentheses, these 2's cancel, and I'm left with x minus 4 plus 4, which is x. And g of f of x, I'm going to say g of 2x plus 4. That's the same thing as 2x plus 4 minus 4 over 2. So these cancel, and then I have 2x over 2 is x. Okay, so number 10, let's find the inverse. I'm going to do it up here, I think. So I've got x equals negative 2/3 y plus 4. So I just switched the x and the y. Now I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides, negative 2/3 y. In order to get rid of this negative 2/3 now, I need to multiply both sides by negative 3/2, or the reciprocal. So I multiply both sides by the reciprocal, negative 3/2. And this is going to be negative 3/2 x plus negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. Divided by 2 is 6. Okay, so this is my g of x, or my f of negative 1 of x. This is my inverse of this. Okay, so let's find f of g of x and g of f of x. All right, f of g of x, these get a little tricky, I know, is going to be f of negative 3/2 x plus 6. And that is negative 2/3 times negative 3/2 x plus 6 plus 4. So hopefully you see, so g of x is this right here. So I put that in. So g of x, g of x. Then this goes in for x, so it goes in for x here, which is what I did here. Now I distribute, and I'm going to get x, because these cancel, right? Negative 2/3 times positive x is negative 4, plus 4 gives me x. Okay, and over here, have g of f of x, which is negative 2/3 x plus 4. And I'm going to plug that in for my x right here. So equals negative 3/2 times this, negative 2/3 x plus 4 plus 6. So these cancel, right? Those cancel. I'm left with x. Negative 3 halves times 4 is negative 6, plus 6 is x. Okay, let me push this up now. Oops. Wow, I pushed it a little too far, didn't I? Still feel like I have a sucky marker. Oh boy. I'm actually here on Saturday and the heat is turned off, so it's actually really cold. And I wonder if that's why one of the reasons why the markers don't work. Okay, this is as high up as I'm gonna get, so oh well. Okay, so let's find, I'm actually gonna give myself some space up here. I'm gonna find the inverse up here. So I've got x equals y squared plus 5. And they're giving us that x is greater than or equal to 0, so we don't have to mess with the square root, taking the square root of a negative. So that's what that's for. All right, so this is x minus 5 equals y squared. I take the square root of both sides, and I get y equals the square root of x minus 5. Now I didn't even worry about the plus or minus. The reason we really had to worry about that was because we were doing it on big ideas, and you need to have those things to get the right answer, but don't worry about that here, okay? It's just a little, well, and we don't need plus or minus anyway because we have x is greater than or equal to 0, so it's still gonna be positive. So anyway, just don't worry about that. Okay, so this is our g of x, our inverse of this. So now f of g of x is f of the square root of x minus 5, which is the square root of x minus 5 squared plus 5. Okay, this gives me x minus 5 plus 5, which is x. All right, and g of f of x is g of x squared plus 5 equals the square root of x squared plus 5 minus 5. Those cancel. I'm left with the square root of x squared, which is x. Okay, I'm out of time for this, so I will continue with number 12 in the next video.